It's a real joy to be here to share on this series that we are looking at. We're looking at this book by George Leonard called Mastery, The Keys to Success and Long-Term Fulfillment. I just want to summarize mastery before I begin today's topic. Definition of mastery is the mysterious process during which what is at first difficult becomes progressively easier and more pleasurable through practice. If there's any sure route to success and fulfillment in life, it is to be found in the long-term, essentially goalless process of mastery, to practice for the sake of the practice itself, not for the result. George Leonard talks about 5 keys to mastery, and these 5 keys are 1, instruction, 2, practice, 3, surrender, 4, intentionality, and 5, the edge. Today we are looking at the 5th key, the edge. George Leonard just has 5 pages, only 5 pages on this key. But those of you who know me will know that I like living on the edge, and so this is something I can talk quite a bit about. But let's see what George Leonard says as an introduction. Now we come, as come we must in anything of real consequence, to a seeming contradiction, a paradox. Almost without exception, those we know as masters are dedicated to the fundamentals of their calling. They are zealots of practice, connoisseurs of the small incremental step. At the same time, and here's the paradox, these people, these masters, are precisely the ones who are likely to challenge previous limits, to take risks for the sake of higher performance, and even to become obsessive at times in that pursuit. Clearly for them, the key is not either or, it's both and. The trick here is not only to test the edges of the envelope, but also to walk the fine line between endless, goalless practice and those alluring goals that appear along the way. So he's talking about the balancing act between endless, goalless practice and alluring goals along the way. I don't know about you, but endless practice sounds terribly boring and monotonous. It's like eating the same food every day. Like how we feel after 2+ years of the pandemic lockdown, with the relentless routine of staying at home, ART tests, Zoom meetings. It's mind-deadening. So the key of this the edge, setting you on the edge, it's like the ECG, the electrocardiogram spikes that actually represent life, because if you don't see any spikes, you're dead. Okay, so these ECG spikes, they take the monotony out of regular practice. They can feel like being on a flat line. That plateau it's like a flat line. That's why he talks so much about the plateau, enjoying the practice, because it's really boring and monotonous. So the word edge creates some images. First of all, it's the image of a cliff edge, and you can see my background here. It's a cliff edge, and the cliff edge represents a void. It represents standing there looking at the big unknown, where you can fall, but then you can also fly. So you've seen those images of videos of people who jump off with their wingsuits, and how they fly, they catch the hot air drafts, and they're having a really great time. Okay, so that's the cliff edge. Now there's also this image of a knife edge, a cutting edge, sharp. When it's sharp, it's useful, it's effective. So remember, we went through 7 habits of a highly effective people, and habit 7 is sharpen your saw. Sharpen your saw. How do you sharpen your saw? Well, there is a proverb that says, iron sharpens iron. So one man sharpens another. This is where team comes in. By interacting with each other, we sharpen one another. So you langa a bit, but you get sharpened. Okay. I have a mentor who taught me that environment is stronger than will. Environment is stronger than will. Having a team, having a community doing the same stretches, taking the same risks, helps me also stay on the edge. Some examples are the last reset limited time offer, where we were going for full house. And because we were doing it together, we really pushed each other to extend the number of people we talked to. And then, of course, recently, those of us who got into stand-up paddling, we continued because of the environment of the group. The word edge implies limits or boundaries. Champion athletes are always aware of the records of the event. Okay? When there is a race or competition announced, it's always compared to the existing games or existing world record. Now, not everyone can break a world record, but everyone can break his or her personal best. And that is all that's expected from you. Okay? First of all, to want to beat your personal best. So the focus on the edge is actually a pursuit of personal limits, which is a personal pursuit of excellence. The edge is excellence. Mastery is excellence. When you go beyond the edge, it's called a breakthrough. Okay, breakthroughs are when you go beyond the edge, and breakdowns are part of breakthroughs. Okay? If you don't have a breakdown, you can't have a breakthrough. But breakdowns are why we fear the edge. Do you know that when you push your muscles, it creates microscopic tears that actually grow stronger after repair and recovery? But be careful that you are not broken beyond repair. James Clear is a person who has commented on this book, The Mastery, and this is what he says: avoid injury. Most people get injured because of goal obsessiveness. Okay, that's another danger of the obsessive, that personality type we saw. Okay, pay attention to the signals your body gives and negotiate with them. Don't override them or ignore them. Okay, pay attention to the signals. And no, with this COVID-19 around, we are all watching for signals, and we know certain signals all through this. Okay, we're gonna hit. So be aware of your body. This is why the slight edge, we talk about the slight edge philosophy of success. This is why the slight edge is such a powerful principle to success, because it's talking about small incremental shifts, which are safer emotionally and safer physically. I want to share with you about my yoga practice. Okay, so before my hip replacement surgeries, I used to practice Ashtanga yoga, and I used to do just over 2 hours of practice 6 days a week. Ashtanga yoga is a style of yoga that is like the new skin of MLM companies, deeply respected as one of the toughest, one of the best. The last pose, we do so many poses over 2 hours. Okay? So the last pose before the final corpse pose at the end of the practice is called Tolasana. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, so this is Tolasana, and someone posted this in a yoga forum in 2001. Right at the end of it all, and shortly before collapsing into Shavasana, that's the corpse position. Okay, when your body feels like scrambled egg already, you lift yourself, legs dutifully folded in Padmasana, the lotus position, right off into Tolasana with both hands pressing on the mat to stay there for the prescribed time of a dreadful 100 breaths, or so it should be done if you follow David Svensson's well-respected instructions. Okay. Now, in Ashtanga yoga, you're actually asked to hold 5 breaths for 95% of the asanas. So for 95% of the poses, at the end of each pose, you just hold 5 breaths. Okay. Some poses require you to hold 10 breaths. Okay, for example, the Padmasana or the lotus position, and some as many as 25 breaths for the headstand. Okay. But 95% are just 5 breaths. But for Tolasana, David Swenson says, and let me read what he says here. Remain for 100 deep breaths for as long as you can hold it without straining. And at the bottom here, he says, the breath count of 100 is not a misprint. It is the prescribed length to remain in this posture. That level of endurance will obviously take many practice sessions to achieve. Okay. So this is me in my practice with Tolasana. Okay. When I was doing Ashtanga, few people actually do 25 breaths for this pose. Okay. I started with 5, I struggled to get to 25, then 30. And, at the end of my practice, before my surgery, I was doing 220 breaths. So my highest count was just over 220 breaths. But today, after my hip surgeries, I know I will break something if I even attempt to get into the lotus position. So I need to know my age too. Okay. But pushing my age has got me to a level that is just unimaginable, okay, with the slight edge philosophy. So let me summarize the edge using this acronym EDGE, okay, edge. The first E is excellence. And Anthony Robbins talks a lot about this, continuous and never-ending improvement. Okay, continuous and never-ending improvement. Okay. Because if you don't get better, you're going to slide downhill. The slight edge philosophy of compounding also works in reverse. Okay, those of us who are doing stand-up paddling know that the board is actually more stable when it is moving forward. Okay, you've got to keep it moving forward. Second, letter D stands for dare to dream. Okay, wow, that's how you have a wow life, when you dare to dream and explore. Okay. The G is gulp. Ow, it's like when you gulp when you feel like running away. Okay, like when you feel like saying no, when you feel fear, then you're facing the edge. Okay. And I want to share with you. This is a picture of Eleanor. Okay, so Eleanor is tall and she's heavy. When you're tall and you're heavy, your CG is high. It's a challenge, and she's not young. She's 55 years old plus, but she overcome her fear. She would go and gulp, 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 and she literally gulped when she fell into the water. Okay, but what a wow life. Okay, she has declared she wants to live. Okay. Now for myself, for the coming New Skin Success Seminar, I was asked if I would be one of 3 speakers beside Rain Ho and Leonard Ong. Okay. 3 of us are supposed to share about reset. Now, so many people can speak on reset. I normally don't want to speak on things that other people can speak about. Okay. But this time, I said yes. I said yes, not because I'm super, but because I felt scared. Okay. A small potato sharing next to these 2 giants, Rain Ho and Leonard Ong. Okay. So when you feel gulp, ouch, fear, that's the time to do it if you want to live on the edge. And lastly, E is environment. Okay. Environment is talking about the how. How do you live on the edge? You need to have that environment where you have a coach, okay, to stretch you. You have a team to walk beside you, and you have a buddy, to be beside you. This accountability and affirmation when you go into the edge. So here you see that there are 2 E's in the word edge. Actually, there is a 3rd E, okay, to summarize what living on the edge is like. And that is exciting. Okay. If you live life on the edge, it would be exciting. Okay. You look at Hui Xuan's life. Okay. Her Facebook followers, many of them all say, wow, so exciting, your life. Okay. And Hui Xuan really gulps a lot when she does some of these things, but she has learned to live life on the edge. Next week, we're going to look at some tools to mastery.